Call this meeting of Fayette County Commissioners to order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start with the minutes. You have a copy of the minutes of the preceding meeting.
Mr. President, I'll move to accept the minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of the preceding meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Department head reports. Highway Department, Mr. Havlin.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
As you know, we've been pretty busy with the ice and snow, and it's just been hectic. I've called and tried to research getting more salt, and there is no salt to be had anywhere. I called our distributor down there in Cincinnati, Morton Salt, and they said they haven't been able to get any in to fill the orders they already had. So they all ship it by barge down the river. I guess the ice is causing them problems. And I talked to Job up the city, and he's got the same problem. His distributor's down in Cincinnati too, and they can't get any in. So we're mixing what we got left, and we hope it makes it due to the end of the month. That's all we can do.
Hope the snow stops.
Hope the snow stops. I'm ready for it to stop. I'm ready for some 50 and 60 degree weather. I'm over it. We've got one truck we got to take to Greens Fork. They dropped the clutch out of it yesterday. It's one of the older trucks. And we'll get that up there and get it back online in case we need it. And we haven't heard anything out of the pickup truck yet. We called to talk to the lady about it, and she's been off sick. And the other lady said she'd have her call us as soon as she come back. So that's where we're at with that. And that's all I have. Pretty much all we've been able to do is just snow and ice, and that's it.
Still get a lot of compliments. I had breakfast a couple weeks ago down at Milltown. There were a couple of people making compliments about what a good job you've done. So
As soon as it gets up to about 50 degrees, between 40 and 50 degrees, we'll be out patching potholes. Because we will get them. We'll have to go get some more coal mix. We've got some down there, but we won't have enough to get everything. But we will get some more and do it.
Now,
I've got a place where I can get it.
when you run out of salt, you just use more sand?
We've got calcium in our tank down there. We got about 5,000 gallons. It's road calcium for gravel roads, but if we have to mix it with sand, we can.
Okay.
It's just you have to spray it, then dump it, and then mix it, and then put it back in the truck. It's just a long process to do it, but if we have to do it, we will do it. It's just an alternative we can do.
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jim. Maintenance, Bill Gray.
Morning, John.
Morning.
I don't have a whole lot. Zane asked me to get a bid on putting a door through from the surveyor's office into, what was that?
Little room.
Extension.
Yeah, the extension office, yes. Get a doorway in between there. I called 4 different contractors. Only one got back with me. Holmes Construction got back with me. $1,250 to put a door in between there. I was finishing out, that's everything. I got to redo, I patched the floor, the ceilings and everything when they put that in there, so.
Right.
It's really not a bad price to have it done. But he's the only one that got back with me. I left messages with World's Home Improvement, Whitewater Construction, Best Home. I left messages with all those, none of them ever got back with me. I still have them today.
Will he put the same type of door in that
It'll be a 6-panel, it'll be stained the same, it won't be the exact same door.
Is it solid wood?
It'll match, everything will match.
it's not a hollow core, it's solid?
No, it's a solid door.
Okay.
And then the floor and stuff, you'll have to patch. We have the floor, we have the tile and everything here. So we'll furnish that.
Well, if we put a door in there, was we not going to take the door off the other side?
This is going into a small office type.
He means, would you leave that,
There's a door,
Open
there's
to
a door
the
extension office
extension.
going into that room,
or
is
would
what
you
I'm
close
saying.
off that door and then you could use that door on the pass door between the two?
If you take that other door out, will it cost more to do that, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have more cost and more patch. You would, you just put a,
Probably make it more functional, give you more wall space if you were going to use it for storage.
yeah.
Well, let's look at that.
Okay.
And then we'll decide the next meeting on
Okay.
which way we want to go.
All right, that's fine. And other than that, that's all I had. The elevator inspector was here from the Department of Homeland Security yesterday. Elevator here passed. Of course, the elevator at the annex is down. They're supposed to start on that the 5th. Tomorrow, I guess. They've been bringing materials in. They're still waiting on some. They've been bringing it in. They're getting ready to get started on that elevator over there. We'll get that up and running. He told me probably 4 or 5 days once they got everything on site to get it fixed and running.
I'm still getting prices in on those step covers out here on the,
Okay. You're still waiting on
on the
price?
north end. But I should have, well, I've got some, but I've got 3 different people giving me prices on the same things.
Okay.
We'll get them in, and then we need to get with you and see if that is the direction we need to go, or there's some other way to do it, and then go ahead and get
It looks like the direction to go to me. I mean,
Okay.
other than tearing those out, we don't want to tear those steps out.
No, it's gonna be high price to put those step covers in, but I think it'll solve the problem.
But if you consider the price of ripping all that concrete out there and.
Right.
and just don't-
But again, we can't get any contractors to talk to us
Yeah,
about
we've tried
what
that.
anything will cost, you know.
Have we come up with a way with we had talked about the ramp, how it pools there and.
Yeah, well, as soon as the weather breaks, soon as we get a little warm weather, I'm gonna get them up there. They can't do nothing right now.
Right.
And see if we can't, see what we can do. Either fix it at the top or put a drain at the bottom like you suggested. One or the other, we gotta fix it. Where that water's pooling on the ramp.
What's warm weather?
Yeah, what is that? Maybe August, I don't know. But that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Bill.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
IT director is home with the flu. County Attorney Chris, you got anything for us?
Just update on Price, the Board of Commissioners of Fayette County. The Supreme Court is still yet to issue their opinion, but his federal EEOC claim was continued to December 5th, 2014, awaiting the decision from the Indiana Supreme Court on his state case.
Okay.
Hopefully that should come out any time now, and I'll let you know as soon as the higher court makes their decision.
Okay. That's all you got, Chris? Surveyor, Mr. Settle.
I have a voucher here for a reimbursement for utility relocation on the Bridge 81 there at Shelton's Platte.
Uh-huh.
I need to have you sign it. It's reimbursement for like a little over $11,000. It was $14,000 to relocate it, and the federal funded, 80% is reimbursement. So you sign the
Yeah,
bottom.
and we don't need any motions to accept money.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
That's 81, right?
Signed at the bottom,
Down.
down there.
Will?
Yeah.
Well, you white that out.
Yeah, I'll work on it. Okay, that's all I have right now.
Okay.
Next one.
Council, is there a council representative here? About this morning? Okay. Mail?
We received from the Whitewater Valley Railroad the day out with Thomas schedule for this year, which is scheduled for June 20th, 21st, 22nd, and June 27th, 28th, and 29th. And they are requesting permission to close the parking lots that they have here that they have always used, and erect tents in part of all 3 parking lots on Wednesday the 18th and leave them up until Monday the 30th. And everything is to be removed on June the 30th.
So
So they're gonna-
basically that's 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
it
much
is-
exactly what they've always asked for.
Right. And this is both the parking lots lot of different cities out here, but
Yeah.
this is what we've already done.
And that in the back, yeah.
I entertain the motion that we do approve this.
So moved.
Second.
Then moved and second, we do approve Whitewater Valley Railroad using our portion of the parking lot on the dates mentioned. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
The other piece of mail I had, and I have no clue how much this is going to be, but it was pretty interesting correspondence I got from the state, from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, that said that they have determined that during the time period January 1st of 2010 to January 5th of 2014, the amount of excise taxes distributed to Indiana counties was miscalculated. And they have calculated the difference between the proper amounts and the amounts actually distributed to the counties, and they intend to wire the difference to the counties within the next 10 days, and I received this last Thursday. They are supposed to have information about the distributions on our on the FTP site, which is the state site. When Kathy does the excise tax calculation, she goes into the state website. I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether they're talking a few cents a transaction. I have no clue what they're talking about or how much money this is going to amount to. And I would assume that we'll get more information from the State Board of Accounts and probably from the State Auditor's Office on how we calculate this, because we typically distribute excise tax at settlement time twice a year. So I'm assuming these monies will be held. It's going to create a lot of extra work. I mean, we're going to have to go back and do four years worth of transactions that we normally do. So
Is this a net gain or loss? I mean,
well, they said, I'm assuming that they shorted us because they said that they would wire the difference to us. So evidently they've
Sounds like
shorted
money's
all the
coming our
counties.
way.
Yeah.
So whatever it is positive.
direction.
Right.
Might be a lot of work if they only send us $3,000 or $4,000, but.
Okay. Old business, we asked Debbie to prepare, to have a resolution prepared for restricting the use of the elevator over at the annex building. We're just getting it fixed. Has Chris seen this?
I put it in this box.
Does this resolution pass your muster, Chris?
Yes.
That won't get us into any legal trouble, Chris.
The reason we're doing this is the elevator has been torn up twice in just a few months at considerable cost. So what we want to do is restrict it just to passenger use where you can't take freight up and down on it. Is there any discussion on the resolution? If not, we need a motion to pass this resolution.
Mr. President,
if you so desire.
I'll move to pass the resolution restricting the use of the elevator in courthouse annex as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution restricting the courthouse elevator to passenger use only. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Highway garage soil borings after our motion last month to purchase an existing building for the highway garage, we went to the council for appropriation of the money. They did appropriate $600,000 for a highway garage with the stipulation that we had to build the building down there. So we had some soil borings done down there behind where our garage is now, which were not favorable at all to building. We have to do new soil borings to see if it is possible to build a building down there. So we need a motion approving hiring a company to do new borings down there.
So moved.
Second.
Moving a second to approve the hiring, and it'll be Patriot. Patriot is the ones that done the borings before, so they're familiar with it. Motion to approve hiring them to do soil borings, and I think they'll get to it this week in talking to them, so we should be able to know by our next meeting what the situation is. All in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Manlove Park timber stand improvement bids.
These gentlemen with,
I doubt any of them have visited.
these are cab. Here's one from Gandy's Timber Management. And
$2,500.
and he spelled out, this was for the plus or minus 29 acres.
Yeah.
Recently harvested timber. And then this one, they gave detail on exactly
Right.
what they would be doing. This one just gave a dollar amount.
The one with the detail was $2,500, and the other one is, this one is from Gandy Timber Management. Jeff Ellis.
No, this one's Gandy's, this one's from
That's what
Jeff
I,
Ellis.
that's what
Yeah,
I say. He did
okay.
for $2,500, and
Yeah.
from Mr. Ellis for $2,300. But Jason, what? This one doesn't specify what they're going to do.
Mr. Ellis is he actually talked to me about this before the bid, and I explained the type of work that needs to be done and such, that he understands
Well,
what is it to be expected of him.
would you want to look at these two real quick and give us your recommendation?
And we do have 14,437.49.
And Mr. Gandy's bid basically explains what timber stand improvement is, line by line, but that's pretty much a
Well,
standard procedure.
My question is, this bid is a little bit
Yeah.
lower, but
He didn't explain it
he would.
exactly what it is, but it's, I mean,
He
he
would
says
do
that
the
it's
same
for
thing.
timber stand improvement work, which is
It's-
basically what Mr. Gandy had enumerated, so it's,
Okay.
it's basically the
so
same
in your
amount of
opinion,
work.
we
so-
would be safe in taking the low bid?
Yeah,
And-
yeah, I'm sure the work, and I would check on it and make sure that everything was
Sure.
done, and reports as, you know, that it was done appropriately, the amount of work and the quality and everything before, you know, you guys would, or at least I hope, pay the man.
Well, we'll just, you know, I would suggest we make a motion to approve the low bid, with payment to be made after, or for, after Jason examined their work and approved it.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we
Do
approve.
that.
I will talk with the two foresters and let them know how the bids happen while, so they know what's going on. And in conversation with them, you know, I had told them that they probably ought to work with the Conservation Club as far as the timing of when, you know, the Conservation Club would like them to be out there working versus if they've got certain activities planned or whatever. So when they'll get that work done and back to us is kind of just a matter of timing with what's
Right.
going on out in the club and things. So, but yeah, once they get the work done, I'll go out and check on it and work with the forester to make sure that the county gets what the county's paying for.
We have voted on it. Motion's been made.
Yeah, who made that, Frank?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the low bid of $2,300 subject to Mr. Waterman's supervising of the of the project and payment to be made when he informs us that it's done to his satisfaction. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We appreciate you overseeing that. if
No,
you
no
will.
problem, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. New business. Cemetery restoration, John Walters.
I prefer to follow the board. I thought that was.
That's fine. That's fine. Next item on the agenda is Sheila Hood wants to talk to us about the vacated alley in Everton.
Back in 1992, my husband Larry and I, we filed that with the commissioners that the alley between our home and the lot on the north side of us be vacated. At that time, it hadn't been used for over 30 years. I've got the advertisement we ran in the paper. It's dated April the 23rd, 1992, and also April the 30th, 1992, under the illegal advertisements to vacate the lot. And the commissioners, I got the minutes from the meeting also at that time, and they okayed it, but for some unknown reason, it wasn't recorded. So I don't know how we can get it recorded now.
Have you, since, see, we went to the basement of the jail, Sharon and I, and we
Right.
looked, and we couldn't, I thought, well, maybe I can find the legal ad, and we couldn't find the
Well, I
legal
got
ad.
it, we went to the library and got the legal ad.
Okay, good.
So,
Does it explain, does it give, like meets and bounds or anything for the,
The legal description?
yeah, does it give a legal description?
I could show you this here. Here's the legal ads too.
Man, I do need that.
I didn't bring your magnifying glass.
And this is the alley we're talking
Yes,
about.
it does give the legal
Right
description.
here.
Yeah, good.
I mean, if I'm looking at. Which one of these, Sheila, is the legal ad for that?
It starts right here, I do believe.
Did you place the ad?
Larry
Or
did.
That's why we couldn't find it in our stuff. I was looking for stuff the county would have
And
paid for.
the land, the property is still in both of our names, but I have the death certificate if you need it.
Now, do you own ground on both sides of this
Yes,
vacated alley?
Mhm.
Chris, is there any reason we couldn't just record that action now and solve the
Might
problem?
I
Might
mean,
ask
is there
for it.
anyone who's using the lot right
No,
It-
it's,
It's
Even though
an
there's
alley,
one
Chris,
there,
with
yeah.
Sheila. They own the land on both sides of the alley. It just goes right through their property.
it hasn't been used now for over 50 years.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just in case someone had to, I mean, it'd be.
No,
unlikely.
everybody's got flowers and trees
Yeah.
planted on where it is and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
You don't think that anyone's tried to adversely possess it?
No,
No.
Okay. Then, yeah, I mean, it could be recorded.
Okay.
Wait, let me, so it was supposed to be recorded in 92?
92.
Yes,
Just,
it just never got
It
recorded.
just-
The commissioner did take the action to vacate the alley.
And we've got the copy of the minutes from that too. if you need it.
So can you take care of recording that and just solve the problem?
yeah, I'll make sure there's nothing else that has to be done.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't have known it, but Ohio Valley Gas come out because my house burnt down. And they come out to mark the line and they informed me then it hadn't been recorded
Yeah.
since 92.
Well,
so.
that seems to me like the simplest solution to the problem, just to record what the commissioner done at that time.
Okay.
If it turns out we can't do that, we can just take the same action again to solve the problem, but,
Okay.
uh,
So how will I know? Because I don't want to
well,
be left out in the dark
Mr.
again.
Appel, our
Like that.
attorney, is gonna take care of it, and, at our next meeting, if,
Yeah, I mean, I can,
Sheila, take this card,
Okay.
and that way you'll get his name and number and everything like that, and he can get back with you, whenever.
yeah, if you would, Chris, if you would just work with Sheila and solve the problem, and if there is any problems, then you come back to the
you can
commissioner.
make a motion now to maybe go ahead and record it if per
Well,
my,
we can make a motion, I mean, okay.
if that makes it just.
So you're gonna, you need to keep those with, it's fine if you do.
All right.
Yeah. Do we need copies of anything?
Well, I don't have any copies of
Okay.
those.
Well, Sharon, you
Yeah.
can make her a copy, right?
Yeah, so we'll have one so we can, well, what kind of document needs to be drawn? Does it have to have a sketch or something that goes with it, Warren, or?
I think the legal description, you probably go what was advertised.
Okay,
Right.
I've got some drawings here I'll give you.
okay, okay.
Frank information.
I think just the legal should be enough.
Record it.
And make a
Okay,
motion.
we do have a motion before the floor that we do approve recording the document for the information that the county, that the commissioners approved a few years before. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Chris, if you would, work with Mrs. Hood and Warren and try and get this done, because I understand you want to be, you need to get in that ground.
Yeah,
Right. We'll get it taken care of.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do we have, Sheila, do
Yes.
we have phone number or something to get a hold of you when that gets done?
Yeah, if you want,
Yeah, okay. You can just,
I'll write them down again.
Right.
that'd be fine.
Give it to us. and
That way everybody does.
Okay.
Cemetery Board.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm going to start out with our signs we had talked about in the past. First of all, I'd like to say we're pleased with our two new board members, Sarah Plow and David Caldwell. Although Mrs. Plow may most likely not be wielding a chainsaw or a weed eater, she has a wealth of information, and I have learned more in the couple of hours I've spent with her about cemeteries in her area than I had all last year. Mr. Caldwell's interest and participation makes him a much-needed addition to our board. We have approached you in prior meetings about the condition of our cemetery signs, and per your request are providing you with photos of a small portion of the signs we feel need to be replaced. We would like for all of our cemeteries to eventually have the beautiful sign from the state, but at this time, to save money, we are requesting that new signs be constructed for now. This is just a partial list to get us started, and as we go, we will provide more photos of signs for replacement. We like the size of the Methodist Farm Cemetery, which is on the lower right, and it's pictured. And we would like for the replacement signs to all be consistent in size and that the names or cemetery not be abbreviated. And we just need to know how to proceed from here to get those replaced.
Well, I would think you would need to figure out what you do want to get a quote on what this is going to cost.
Well, we thought that you had said that the highway department would make them for us, but we just needed to provide you with pictures of the signs and the list of the ones that we didn't have signs on. And then you would tell us how to proceed from there, if we needed to get with him personally or how we were to take care of doing that.
Jay, do you guys make signs or?
It depends what sign. If it's just a straight name on the sign, we can make it. If it's something special, you have to order it through a company.
So do you have a size that we're talking about?
I didn't physically measure that one. It's approximately this big. Maybe a double size of a height of a street sign.
It looks like 6 by 12.
Yeah, probably.
I can give
And
this.
what does them come in?
I can give this to the sign man. When you get a chance, he can look it over and he can tell you what's going to cost. Make all of them.
Okay.
Each way to do it.
Why don't you do that? Why don't you coordinate your efforts with Jay, what you want,
Okay,
and get him to see what we can do, and then we'll go from there.
okay, very good. Okay, the next thing I want to cover is mileage reimbursement. During the past season, my husband and myself have put over 2,500 miles on our combined vehicles in caring for our cemeteries. With the rising cost of gasoline, we are requesting that the cemetery board members be granted reimbursement for documented mileage for 2014 and forward. We were hoping that that was something you could help us with.
But why don't we just go through what all you're, and we'll discuss the whole thing at one time. Can we
Okay.
do that?
Our final thing is our request for funds for this year. For the year of 2014, we are requesting $2,500 for a budget through which we can purchase approved supplies. Some of the items that we will be needing are household ammonia, Revive, which is formerly BioWatch, wood fence posts, steel fence posts, brace wire, fence anchors, Sakrete, 10W30 oil, 5/8" rebar, 8-foot step ladder, 2-cycle oil, nylon and Nylox brushes, non-treated lumber, weed eater string, assorted hardware such as nuts, bolts, wood screws, fence staples, T-post clips, steel angle iron, American flags, an electric cutoff saw, and a push mower. Last year our supplier discontinued carrying chainsaw chaps, so we also need to purchase those. We had $156.69 left from our appropriation in 2013, and hopefully we can use that to buy those chaps this year. Since we do not have room to store everything we might need all at once, we are requesting that we be given a dollar amount and a list of what supplies or equipment would be approved, and then purchase them as they are needed, and giving us the burden of staying within the allotted amount. The Revive is only carried in certain stores, and we would be willing to purchase it and then turn in our receipt for reimbursement. We are open to any and all suggestions on how to handle the purchase of supplies.
Now, what was you said ammonia,
Ammonia,
and what are you gonna,
you use that to clean the stones with.
are you talking about restoring stone?
No, we're talking about cleaning stones. We have no supplies listed here for repairing or restoration.
Which is what you did last year, right? You just
Correct.
cleaned stones?
Correct.
Okay.
And we have a photo album with us today to show you what we've done.
And what's the cutoff saw for?
The cutoff saw, when we put in flagpoles, we're going to use angle iron to put them in the ground and mount them, so we don't have to pour a lot of cement. And we need something to cut that with.
That's not gonna be a lot of angle iron we're gonna have to be cutting.
No, but there's also old poles and stuff that need to be cut.
I would think, if we had a piece of angle iron, we get somebody to cut it without.
That's fine. We're fine with that.
High price saw to do that with.
Well, do you remember what the price was? The saw?
From Menards, it was $150.
It was $150 from Menards.
That's just my personal opinion. That's going to come. If I cut off saw, just cut a few pieces of angle iron. I've never had one. So what's your wishes of what she's wanting to do?
I'm a little confused, but her budget's already established.
Right.
So you're asking over and above what your budget is for the $2,500?
We don't have a budget this year. We
It-
don't
it's
have any
really
money
our
this
budget,
year.
Right.
We have money.
We're asking
she's
for
money
$2,500
out of our
to
budget.
pull from to buy fence
All right.
posts
Right.
and the supplies that we need to maintain the cemeteries.
There's like 500 in gas and repair, and then what the council approved, 500 in liability insurance, and then 25,000 in the mowing contract, and 10,000 in stone restoration, so.
So how much?
Well, I doubt that you would use a full 10,000 in stone. In restoration, I'm trying to remember what Corey's contract was, because I think
This was 24 something. I can't remember
it
the
was
odd
done.
amount, but
This
It went up.
budget was approved prior to, yeah.
His contract is more this year than it was last year, if I remember right.
Yeah,
It
yeah, I think so,
increases.
but I don't have a, yeah.
Right.
So you need a motion to approve it or
Well,
unapprove it?
Well, why don't we let Debbie find out how much money we do have to spend, right?
Well,
Because we didn't.
yeah,
know.
I'd have to calculate
We
how
didn't
much.
know what this request is gonna be made today, so why don't we let Debbie understand your
Yeah.
budget, if you can leave what you do want, then we will put this first thing on the agenda next meeting. How would that be?
And that would then, if it was something that would require an additional appropriation to council, that
We'll
has to
have
be
to advertise.
advertised. You couldn't do it at the council meeting tonight,
Yeah,
even if you,
that's-
even if they approved it here today, because there is an advertising requirement 10 days prior to a meeting
For additional appropriation.
for an additional
I see
appropriation.
what you're saying. Because we have had an appropriation last year, this would be
No,
an
they don't
additional
carry
one.
Yeah, it doesn't
forward.
carry on.
The only way they would carry, something would carry forward is if you had, say you had something ordered and you hadn't been invoiced for it yet, then you could carry that appropriation forward, but this really isn't anything like that. So,
You
yeah.
lose all them at the first of the year, the money gets reversed into the fund.
And, trying to find there, you know. There may very well be.
So what I would suggest you leave with us what it is you're asking. We can go through the funds and see if it's going to need to be an additional appropriation. We'll take action on it next meeting. In the meantime, you can get with Jay and give him your request and see what we can do. And then he can get back with us the next meeting. We can take care of that too.
Okay.
Hey Jay, do you have stuff down there to cut angle iron?
We have chop saw for that angle.
Okay.
There is, I mean,
So-
there's probably funds to do it,
So the mileage would need to go to the next meeting as well? Because
Well-
that
Well,
would
there's 500 in there for, there is 500 in the budget for, it says gas and repair, so that's where, when you've been turning in bills for gas for the weed eaters, that's where that's been paid for. So right now, there's 500, so.
Okay, so that could be a reappropriation then the next meeting as well, if we figure it's going to be more than
If
that.
we're going to do this, let's do everything at one time.
Okay,
So we
that's
know
fine.
what all we're doing, okay?
Okay, and that's fine. And in the interest of this, if we have to, if there's something we're going to be doing within the cemeteries, is it feasible to say we should go ahead and document that mileage at this point?
Yeah.
Well, if you're expecting to get paid for it later date, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just making sure we can do that between now and the next
Well, you
meeting.
document everything, that way you can prove that it happened, because if it's not documented, it's just the same as if it didn't happen.
Okay, very
Okay.
good. Very good. So if we come to your meeting in 2 weeks, then after that meeting, if it's approved, then we would have time to get on the council for the next month.
We would have
That's
time
enough
to
time,
advertise.
Right,
Levi.
because that'll be 2
Yeah.
weeks away.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Walters?
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I'd like to start out with just a little bit of a report on Old White Cemetery. As I believe you're aware, we restored Old White Cemetery. My company restored Old White Cemetery last year. I have 279 photos here documenting the before and after and the work during the process, starting with when we went in and had to mow them whenever the department went defunct right before Memorial Day. So this contains all that documentation. And while I'm on that subject, I've been discussing this with Dale Strong, that so many records have been lost over the years, just like being moved to the basement, to the jail, to the H&K building from here and there. So most of the documentation I did through 1996 to 2000 has been scattered, lost, here and there. Dale Strong and I thought that the safest place for this type of documentation would be in the Paulette Hayes Indiana room of the library. I spoke with people at the library and they'd love to get it, because genealogists, this is exactly what genealogists are looking for. And I didn't know whether I should leave these around the courthouse to you people, and the county council would like to go through them and look at them. There's some beautiful work in here. You can see that the tombstones became readable with cleaning. So there's a lot of information that no one's seen for 60, 70 years, most likely, through this.
John,
Or I can just take it to the library.
if we let it go to the library, will they be able to check the books out?
No, and that's the main reason for that. Genealogists go to the Indiana room constantly from out of town, everybody looking for who's buried in these cemeteries, their ancestors. And this would be the most logical place. Then they could actually take a virtual tour of the cemetery without going through the cemetery itself, and for older people. And Dale Strong said they would actually have a shelf just for these restored cemeteries to be stored on, so as people go to it, they'll know right where to pull one off, and then they can see all the work that was done out there.
That seems reasonable to me. The library has easy access for the public. John, if you would, why don't you leave them here and the commissioners can look at them, and we'll...
Yeah, and if you would just give them to Dale Strong, because he said
we'll
he'd
have the
take them.
council look at them tonight, and Dale will just take them up to the library.
He said he'd take the library for me.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great, thank you.
Oh, they were tickled to death.
Thank you.
Need a motion?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, kind of a little follow-up on that, but we received many compliments and praises as we restored that cemetery back into a respectable condition. Fred Harrison, he's been living out in Old Orange for many, many times. He stopped by practically every day to compliment on it. He said that's the best the yard looked in 60 years or better. So they're really happy about it out there in that area. And this gives us a good sense of community pride and sets up for a lower maintenance yard, as Corey can attest to. When the cemetery is restored and put back in the line and all the stones are back up off the ground, it can be mowed so much easier. It becomes a lower maintenance cemetery. There's really nothing endangering that yard now. Trees are not endangering it. It's easier to maintain now, so we really shouldn't have any problems out of that cemetery for a few years anyway, for many years. There's 3 stones left lying on the ground, and it was my opinion that if we removed them stones from the ground, we'd do more harm than good. They were laying there when I mowed that yard in 96, 97. There's no information because it's already weathered away. And sometimes with gravestones, it is what it is. What's left, it becomes the grave marker. For instance, if we try to pull them out of the ground, they crumble all up. We've done more harm than good. So actually, even when the tombstone leaves the grave and the base is the only thing there, the base becomes the grave marker. And it goes as far as the grave depression. If nothing's there but a grave depression, then the grave depression becomes the marker and shouldn't be leveled up. So these are things that lets us know that that is a grave. So that's why those 3 stones were not lifted up and out of the ground. I think we do a lot more harm than good. So they've been ran over for all these years. I'd say it's just going to be that's just one of those things. It is what it is. Other than that, I think the yard looks very, very nice. Let's see. I was asked to give a bid on Martin Cemetery. I believe that's in Connersville Township. This is just pictures of it in 2012 when we had to go back up there and mow it whenever the cemetery became defunct. That's the cemetery in question now. It's Martin. I think it's on County Road 400, Bunker Hill, and then you go north off of Bunker Hill. It's in that area. This is
on the east side of the road.
Yeah. This is just the documentation so far of the stones and people buried in that cemetery.
It's on the east side of the road here, right? If I remember right. Yeah.
Right. And then this is a copy of the bid.
Yeah, I've got 2. Here's an extra one.
Didn't leave myself a copy, but I believe the bid was $47.50 or $4,750. There's a little over 67 tombstones, markers, some footstones. There's a few footstones along the fence, but have to be trying to find the right location for them. But I believe that puts it down averaging about a little over $70 a stone to be restored, and that's a very fair price. That counts for the hometown discount.
Is that it?
Now, what does endanger that stone or that yard is horses, people riding their horses in there. It's been a problem before, and the last couple times I've been there, there's evidence of the horses in there. Horses are a large animal, they butt up against the stone, boom, We got 3 broken sandstones that I put together years ago, and piles of horse manure right beside them, so I'd say that could be the culprit right there, I think that could be remedied by just a gate being put up there because right now it's just so easy access to come off the road and ride through it.
Right.
So the damage done, I don't believe we've ever had vandalism in that yard. That yard was actually pretty much restored in 2000 or 1999, and there's been 6 stones broken since then. And I don't believe it's been due to vandalism. I believe it's been due to the horses that are getting in there. Not loose, just people riding down the road and wanting to look through it and everything. That can be handled. That's the only thing I see that's really endangering that yard. The stones just need to be put back into respectable condition again, and then we'd have our 3rd cemetery restored here in the last few years. As we kind of set a plan in process a couple years ago when the cemetery department went down, and it was going to be Nulltown, Old Orange, Martin, and then we were going to stabilize Mount Zion. But there's where we are right now. You asked me for a bid, and there's where we're at with Martin bid.
He is correct. We did establish that we would try and do one of these cemeteries a year, and it was established then that we could, as John is the expert in cemetery restoration, that we didn't, the attorney said then we didn't have to take bids on this because he is the one recognized.
He's a specialist, and it's hard to find someone that compares with, so yeah.
And he's always done a good job and given us what I think is a respectful price. So it's whatever your wishes are. We have $10,000 in that fund, did you?
Yeah.
Say?
Mr. President, I will move we accept Mr. Walters' bid of $4,750. Quote, I should say.
It has been brought to my attention that there is someone here that wants an opportunity to bid a fair bid on headstone restoration that already does headstone restoration for the city. Is that so?
Yes. Kelly Lou? Yeah, I've been doing the city the last 4 years. This will be my 5th year. Prior to that, I worked with John. I'd like the opportunity to put it into.
Well, we have a motion before the floor. We can either withdraw the motion or go on with it. If we are going to take bids on it, we'll have to do that and take that up next month, whatever we want to do.
Excuse me. I left on one other thing too. It goes along with, we're talking signs, and then you make this decision. But as I spoke to you, each cemetery that we restore, I will purchase that Indiana state sign for that cemetery. Because these signs are actually, they're a lot better than having a, homemade one like that. These have the Department of Natural Resources name on them, Department of Historic Preservation on them. And what we've found over the years is they've really hindered vandalism, because you've got these agencies involved that, people look at the sign and thinking, well, this is well taken care of, documented, and databased. So as we restore these cemeteries, we wouldn't have to worry about the taxpayers paying for the sign, and sign come later. I've already ordered a sign for Old Orange, so just on the sign thing, that's just one added thing you wouldn't have to worry about.
Are these high price signs, John?
I think they're about 126, 136 piece.
120, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, because like 125, and it's like $10 for shipping and handling.
But, like I said, I've been with these cemeteries since 1996. I know them. I've been through them before. I know what they need.
Which I don't. I understand the issue of the signs, and that's a great idea. I mean, as far as, I'm just a proponent of being fair to all equal parties, even at the end of the day, like I had explained, if everybody that wants to bid has the option to bid, and you still get the bid, but my thing is that if we have someone who's interested and qualified, I don't know as we can say, no, we're not going to, I mean, we can, but it's kind of a, we're shutting everybody off that has the ability to do it. And
yeah, but you already have his bid out there, so he can come up with anything lower since you already said where it is.
Right.
Yes, that's not hardly fair to the first bidder, is it? It's kind of like changing up in the middle of the program.
Well, the other thing is I found out the other day that this was happening, so It's whatever you guys want.
I don't believe I have to sell my company because I've been doing this since I left 2000. I've worked 7 states and 42 counties in Indiana. I've got plenty of the equipment and all the equipment.
What'd you say, Chris? Give us just a
Sure.
minute, John. Hang on. Just 1 second.
Is there, I know that's requesting
Well,
someone do this, or do you just?
What was the next one on the list? Because maybe there's enough money to do a smaller one, and then we could just formally bid that out, and then what next
Well,
was on the list.
we were going to go to Mount Zion because it's had vandalism, so we were going to start getting it all stabilized again, not so much go through the cleaning process.
That's a bigger
That's a
yard.
pretty good size one, but it's got a lot of large monuments down.
I wish I had known this before now.
I found out about this morning when I walked in here.
Have to get other people on there.
Sir, what was your name? I need to get it in a minute. Yeah, what? Okay, Kelly. Okay. Thank you.
So what are you saying, Chris? This is an annual deal where John has come in and give us a quote of what he would take that we established before that he was the qualified person to do this and give us a price. And I asked him to give us a price on the cemetery, but if we needed to get quotes from 2 different people, we could do that at our next meeting.
And was it published that you were seeking a
No.
bid for this?
No, it was not. He just come with his
I think
pictures. And
it's below the cost threshold you have to advertise.
It's below the cost threshold for advertising.
So, yeah, then it's up to you guys. If you want to approve his bid or wait, the opportunity.
The problem is after we've already had the price of what he'll do, it's kind of unfair to, on both sides. I mean, this gentleman here, if he's going to bid, I'm sure it's going to be less than $47.50. Because he knows what that is. Right? So how do we handle that problem?
So my question is, can we award John Walters this contract today?
Yes.
Okay, and then basically explain to you that, you can bid, because it is actually, now that I think about it, once he's already given his bid, you can come in at $4,000 and undercut it, and that's not real fair to. So, to be fair on both sides, if you guys are okay with that, award the contract, and then at a later date, you'll just have to be notified that when a headstone restoration comes up, you can submit your bid.
I think also we know his bid includes the fact he's insured and everything like that. We need information as far as whether or not you are insured, by whom, and your insured limits, liability limits, and et cetera.
And your qualifications and what you've done and.
So you were contracted through the city, right?
Yeah, this will be my 5th year through there. I have insurance, yeah. I believe it's $1 million coverage or 2.
Okay.
I think I'll let my motion stand next year. Since we're right in the middle of all this and this has been slammed on us, I'm going to go ahead and continue. But you are more than welcome to compete next year. Just give us a little advance notice and give us some of the stuff I asked for. Okay.
And in the event next year that we know that there's going to be a bid process, right?
Right.
Okay.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second to that motion.
Been moved and seconded we approve John's contract for $47.50. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I will add that Kelly Luke does fantastic work. He worked 4 years for me. He does the work that I do. I have no problem with both of us bidding next year. You know, and I'm sure you'd be happy with his work.
John, in this deal, will you take care of that gate problem you're talking about, or see what we need there so we can't close it all?
Yeah,
We don't want to keep
you know,
redoing this
can't be
because
that
somebody
much,
wants to
but-
drive their horse through there.
Yeah, even might be a sign, no horses allowed or something, but, you know, but we need work.
We need
We need
something.
to put this work into this yard and then,
We
you know.
just plain need something to keep them out of there.
Right. Because I doubt that they'd climb off, open the gate and then go in with them. I think it's just one
Well,
of
they
the
just
easy
want to keep
access.
right. Okay.
Martin, can I say something? We have a gate that we took off the bridge project over Shelton Flat,
Uh-huh.
down there, a chain link gate. If you want to let him use that, he's welcome to it. There's two of them down there.
That's fine.
They took them down, they didn't want them up, and we got them out of the garage.
Then I will take care of the gate and Martin also.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Kelly, I appreciate it.
Can I speak?
He-
To the signs, I respect the fact that he's going to purchase signs. He redid in Old Town, and we as the county, we purchased that sign, he didn't. Also, we have commitments through veterans organizations that will do fundraisers to buy signs. So that, you know, that's no money off the county in that as well.
Well, if they would buy signs, I mean, the signs John's talking about would look nice.
But that's exactly what I'm telling you. They will purchase those signs through fundraisers.
Then if that's the case, then we don't need the highway department making signs then, right?
Well, if it's cost effective, I mean, yeah, they would purchase those signs instead of the real nice ones. I mean, we want to save them money as well.
But I do think there's something to be said about the signs in all the cemeteries being the same.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, and if we could get veterans organizations or whoever to donate to purchase the signs that are the better signs, that seems like that might be the way to go.
All right. And something else, I thought we as a cemetery is working together with the commission. This is the first time that we had heard that Martin Cemetery was going to be proposed a bid. Now, we're not saying that it doesn't. All of them need it. Some of them need priority to others.
That's the plan.
And according to Mr. Walters, you had asked him to put in a bid for it.
Yeah.
That was the order of what we had planned 2 years ago.
Two or 3 years ago. This is just completing what was started before you was
So is that the
even around.
last of the completion, other than Mount Zion?
Right.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't, was that the last of them? I don't know, there,
I don't know what it was.
yeah, I don't
I'd
have
have
the
to go
list.
back and look. I know those were, there was a handful or two that we decided to start there, and if we were restoring at least one cemetery for the larger ones a year, we felt we were doing a great job on after losing the department. We're getting more restoration work done now than we had in the last 10 years.
Right.
Absolutely. And also, I may be stupid on this matter, but I stood before you guys before and you sat there and told us that no matter what it is, whether it's supplies or contracts, that you had to advertise it, you had to get at least 3 bids.
This,
Advertise for the
as I explained
appropriation.
before, this cemetery restoration deal was addressed by the commissioners about 3 years ago. It was established then that we could hire John there because he was a recognized expert, and that's what the attorney told us, and that's what we've done in the last 2 or 3 cemeteries. We are going to, as this man wants to bid, we are going to open that up from here on out to let people bid on it.
I understand that.
And they have,
And prior to this, we had mentioned to you several times, twice myself, that there was other businesses that are interested in doing it. So it was to your attention 2 other times, not just today.
there are several people who want to do this. Well, let's just leave it there.
But that's my point. It was brought to your attention at an earlier date, and now it's a problem.
It's not a problem.
Right, but at this earlier date, you could have solved this problem than today. You had other people that was interested, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And, you know, we want to work together, but it seems like that you're trying to go about things a different way. And, you know, with all due respect, we would like to be, you know, informed on stuff so we don't step on your toes. And it seems like that's what we continuously do because we're not informed on everything.
Well, if we decide to hire John, then that's what we do. Okay, it is that simple. There are people who can do the job and are experts. John has been recognized in the newspaper, I know before, for his work and for his ability to do the job. There's no intent to cut anybody out of anything because until Kelly said something today, I wasn't aware that he did it, and I've known Kelly for years. Okay, but there's no contention here. You've got two people doing two different tasks. It's just that simple.
That's it, Becky.
One final thing. The businesses that are being brought up here that does this work, the Stone Hugger, Stone Saver, these are all people that came to my workshops, learned that, and they're all spawned off of the Indiana Historical Society workshop. So I ain't saying talk about their work ago, they talk about their experience. Their experiences just came from what I taught at workshops, and then they've taken it from there. So I know there's 8 businesses that spawned from me doing workshops over the last 12 years for Historic Society. I know all 8 of those businesses and who runs those businesses. So I just want to let you know who you're getting when you bid these out.
We went through all this last year.
You're getting my students, or you get the A team and B team. So I don't know.
Zane, you're up on the courthouse basement cleanup.
I had taken on a project a week ago or so. Basement of the courthouse, the basement of the annex, the basement of the jail is just terrible. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. There's just equipment. And as a county entity, we can't just, offices can't take things and just throw them away. It has to go through the commissioners because it's taxpayer property. So I have taken on the task to clean out the basement of the courthouse this week with Community Corrections. And it's going to be a month-long, if not a couple of month-long project. There may be some money coming back to the county for salvage metal and so on and so forth. I've talked with the city. They said they were okay with us bringing it up to their transfer station at no cost. So we're going to start that project Monday, but it is essential that the commissioners approve a list. So every time I've gone over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and cataloged everything in the basement that I think needs to go, which then request the other 2 commissioners should approve that list. That way it's on the record. That way we know what's left the building, what's gone to the dump, what's gone to the metal place, and that way the taxpayers know where their stuff is. You know, once it's considered destroyed, it's gone.
Okay.
So I need the other 2 commissioners or somebody to approve. And every time I come back with another list, it'll just get approved again and again and again, so that way it's on file. That way we're not just pitching stuff out and nobody knows what we're doing.
We do need a motion to declare these items surplus so we can get rid of them.
So moved.
Second.
So moved to second. We declare the items on Zane's list here as surplus so we can be disposed of. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is 2014 capital plan. We have to do this every year. This concerns our edit money, which the edit tax was put on when the new courthouse was built, and that plan states that
the expenses for the debt payment of the courthouse and some operating expenses and courthouse equipment can be taken out of that. The debt payment has to be made first. This year, there's going to be $776,882 come in from the edit funds. Courthouse project debt payment is going to amount to $170,000. Courthouse operating expenses, when the council made their budget this year, they put $0 in their budget for utilities for the courthouse and the jail and the janitorial expenses. We've in the past had $110,000 in there to supplement the general fund for utilities. As they have decided not to put any money in their budget in the general fund for utilities, we're going to have to take $347,873 out of there. The other option is to close the courthouse and jail for lack of utilities. After that brings all the expenses for that first portion to $567,873, which just leaves $209,009 to be split between us and the city. The city receives 52% and we receive 48% of that money. Now each side with their division has to come up with economic development projects plan to spend that money. We've developed our portion, which is $100,324 in this manner. $5,000 for the Senior Citizen Center. That is their matching part of the grant for their public transportation. Partial funding of EDG, $60,000. We have in the past give EDG $110,000. County Council has decided to only approach $60,000. So if they don't appropriate it, we can't put it in we can't spend it. Regional Economic Development Funding, $15,000. That's traditionally been in there to fund the Regional Economic Development Board. Town of Glenwood, $1,000. They're entitled to a little bit, so Fayette County generally just takes $1,000 out of our portion and lets them have. Community Development Contract, $18,000. That's a funding for Diane Grant, or our portion. The grant writer is a city-county joint project. We fund $18,000. They fund the rest. Economic, which leaves us $1,324 that we can spend for economic development projects, which is not much because this is economic development tax, but that's where we are. And that'll leave Connersville getting $108,685. This is the plan which Debbie and I have kind of worked up based on what we've done in the past and what we're kind of forced to do by having to put an extra $237,000 in there for utilities. So I'm open to any comments from the two commissioners or from the public, but we just don't have much wiggle room here.
I think it's a well put together budget. I like the fact that we're forced to contribute an extra 200-some-odd-thousand, but we don't really have a choice. It's well put together. Need a motion to accept it?
Yes, we do. If that's what you want to do, like I said, with the council decision to put all the utilities but not to fund any utilities in their budget. We don't have much choice unless we want to sit here in the dark.
Mr. President, I'll move to accept the capital improvement plan for 2014 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded the proposed capital improvement plan be accepted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. ...2018 cyclical reassessment. Somebody's going to have to explain that to me.
I asked Kathy to come on very short notice to give an
Called me this
explanation.
morning.
So, yes, we'll be opening bids next week.
Well,
I mean,
I
in
do
next
know-
meeting.
Man, that's a lot of stuff.
well, that's the bid spec, Martin. I just gave one to you. I wanted to.
Kathy, this looks complicated.
Give us the short version.
Well, Debbie called
The
me.
simplified version, too.
Yeah. I gave Chris a copy of the bid spec and Martin on behalf of the commissioners. We put out a bid spec. We have to bid on the next 2018 reassessment, and we asked for the bids to be open. They had to be open in front of the commissioners. You just open the bids and read the amounts. And I asked Debbie to place us on the schedule for the next meeting. And she asked me this morning just to give you a little heads up, or if you had any questions, just to let you know that we are requesting bids for quotes. And the legislators put the reassessment now into quarters. So starting July 1st of this year, 2014, a quarter, in all the counties, a quarter of the parcels have to be visited. A quarter ag, quarter res, quarter commercial, quarter industrial, exempt in utilities. So a quarter have to be visited this year, and for 15, 16, and 17, they need to be done. So we're contracting for a vendor to come and do the work for us. And but how to do it, it was set up by the state and the legislators. So this letter here just explains this from the Mr. Vincent, the state commissioner, how we're supposed to use a model contract. So the bid spec was kind of, had a couple vendors give us samples of some bid specs, and we used the state model contract to base the bid specs on. So I gave you the letter, and then the next page is the adopted 2014 budget. That's what council allowed for the budget. The total budget was $172,825 for this year. Several years ago, the state asked us what we would need to run the reassessment, so the county, the county paid for it the last time. But I wanted you to be aware that the state legislator, the state, I don't know what department that is, they allowed us $172,825 a year in the reassessment fund, and the council did agree that we could go ahead and keep it this year. The laws have changed where now the county councils have the right to determine the balance, the money that you would get for reassessment in each county.
The first 2 years, they said 170 something. I mean, they put the levy on exactly the first 2 years, but this past year was the first year of the councils.
Right,
and I was concerned about that.
And what they did, and what we have to spend, if you look at the under assessing services, it's really, it had been, we asked for like 125, and then 26,000 for software, because that's what we need to spend for software, is 26,000. But the council allowed 104,000, which, of course, you know, with the tax caps and all, we won't get the full amount. So we'll probably be shy $7,000 or so for the reassessment fund. But we have 104,000 out of that to do our assessing services. And I wanted you to see, and then the rest, they put Debbie back into the reassessment fund.
Debbie Coleman.
Debbie Coleman, yes, Debbie Coleman. back into the reassessment fund. She was there, she got moved to county general. They wanted to lower county general fund, so she put her in the reassessment funds, which didn't allow as much to do our assessing services. And the next page I gave you is the end of the year reassessment budget, and we were left with $426,000. This has been accumulated over the last like 5 years, well, four years, and then they're going to allow us to have the same amount. So one concern was, before you put in a bid or accept a bid, we better know you have the money to do it. So at this, we were left with $426,000. The next page, yes, sweetheart, she put in the, we had the end of the month report for February, so we're down to $386,000 at this point, cash at this point in the fund. With the remainder, we get some, we'll have money at May in the fall settlement plus BMC.
Yeah, excise tax.
Excise tax.
See that. Yeah.
So we do have this much to start with. We're supposed to have around 104, say $100,000 that we'll have to spend on the assessing services. So I wanted you to be aware of the amount. So I have no idea what the bids will be this year for the reassessment, but this is the fund that we will have to work with. This amount, out of which comes, we pay Debbie Coleman, we pay Penny Kindred, she's our part-time secretary, and the Peter Bow out of that. This bid sheet here, we're going to have them break it down. These are the services that we're asking the vendors to provide for us. They help with sales validation. The state requires we go out and visit properties. Right now it's just, and the vendors will do that. We don't have a vehicle to use ourselves, and I use my car, and the other ladies don't have vehicles to use. We borrow Bill Gray's car to use. But a lot of these, the sales disclosures, the new constructions, the cyclical reassessment, all that requires that we have people go out into the field with their vehicles, and a vendor supplies that. We don't have to worry about gas, liability. So in a sense, it's a little easier to have a vendor go out than to have a vehicle to work with at this time. But I had to break it down. Some we could take with pictures or without pictures. One county, they're a large county, they had like $1 million reassessment fund with $180,000 to take the pictures. So if it's going to be too much of an expense, we'll see what it costs with pictures and what it costs without, and we'll look at the budget at that point. And I think that's it. No, this is just, we have 14,034 parcels at this time. And the last page is a cyclical work plan we had to present to the state last year to let them know that how we're going to proceed with the reassessment. So I just wanted, Debbie asked that I just kind of give you heads up on it. We're going to be opening the bid.
They'll know when they open bids.
And I wanted you to be aware of the funds that we have available as of today, and then what we will have coming in to complete the reassessment work. Okay, so if you'll, and I gave Barton, I mean, if Frank and Zane, you want a copy of the bid spec, you're welcome to it, but and I gave Chris a copy too, being our attorney, if he had any questions about it. So if you have any questions, but if not, you're welcome to come over to the office. And then again, we're going to be on schedule and open the bids at the next commissioners meeting.
Okay. So will there be any? Well, okay. So some of this work will get started yet this year.
We're already under contract to do the annual adjustments.
Things. Yeah, we've lumped them all into one thing. I think.
This year, the reassessment will start the 14th, and the other services will begin next year. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Kathy.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Chris, if there's anything, I said I've already sent them out. I don't think there's much as far as being legal on the statement. A lot of that comes off the model contract. but if there's any questions on the bid spec, but we will give you the contract to look at before we sign it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We need to add in, since I didn't, Andrew Harrison. So sorry. I'm sorry, Andrew, I didn't.
Well, we're not done yet. We're okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. Mr. Harrison,
Are you ready for me?
we're ready for you.
Well, I do have a presentation today, so it'll take me a couple seconds to plug in my projector and whatnot. So if there's other stuff, maybe let me plug some stuff in. Will that work?
Okay.
Work.
Oh, we forgot about those. Yeah, there is something else you can go ahead and do in the meantime. I'm so sorry, Jay.
I forgot
You brought them
about
to
these
me
two.
yesterday.
I've got the year-end annual reports need to be reviewed by you
Yeah,
gentlemen and
now need to
signed.
be signed, and we pass some on to the state,
Yeah.
and some of them we keep here. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Now, does that require a motion to approve them or not? I don't think it
All right,
does.
we just read them and sign them.
Okay, cool.
I tell you, while he's plugging in stuff and getting ready while we take about a 5-minute recess.
That sounds good to me.
Is Mr. Westerfield still here?
What it looked like.
Okay, sir.
Ready to reconvene? Well, my name's Andrew Harrison with the Schneider Corporation. We are a full-service e-government technology company here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm actually a hometown boy, so Connersville is my hometown. And so I wanted to come down and show you guys today what we've been doing in some of the surrounding communities. So we've been working with Rush County, Henry County, Wayne County, and a number of other counties around the state of Indiana, but in this particular region, and then down in Decatur and down in Dearborn County too. So kind of surrounding Fayette County pretty extensively. But what we do is we provide public access to property information that's stored in the courthouse. So if you can imagine the ability to add 3 employees for a minimal cost, that's really what our technology has done. On an average, it saves about 25 hours a day of questions and things that the countertops have to respond to. This technology handles because the person's doing it on their own at home. So I was just going to show you guys what we've done in Rush County and in Wayne County, and kind of bounce around, and then try to address some of the questions that I've seen across the other communities, if that's okay. So we are currently in 12 different states, Indiana obviously being a primary state. A few years ago, we worked with the Department of Local Finance to do a statewide effort. So every community in the state of Indiana has a GIS portal from Beacon. And Fayette County is one of those communities, so you guys have a system that's in the county now. So when I come into Fayette County, there's the word basic. Anytime I see the word basic, that means it's a free site. Also means the information doesn't get updated on a regular basis, so it's fairly limited. So when you come in here, you type in Harrison, and it's going to go out and it's going to search for all the Harrisons that live in the community, and then based on the property, you can pick on one of the properties my mom owns here. So click on this property, and it's bringing back the information that we have inside of the Department of Local Finance. So pretty limited information. You got the ownership information, the residential dwelling information is here, but the taxation, things like that are not in the system because the DLGF did not disclose that to us in our last pull. So what we've tried to do is go to the communities and upgrade that information to where it gets updated on a nightly basis. So same thing, we don't have access to the county's GIS information, so we have to rely on Google. And so in this case here you see Google Street View, or Google Maps being displayed in the background so I can see all the information. But when researchers are looking for information, they need a lot more access to data. So I'm going to bounce back out here. Let's go to Rush County. Now, Rush County was using a competitor's product for a number of years, for quite a while. And if you asked the auditor, at least she has told me in the past that she, we did this conversion just a few months ago, and her comment was pretty simple. This was something she wished she'd done that 10 years ago. It was that seamless, and it just really opened their courthouse up a lot for her. So in Rush County, you can come in and you can search by name, address, or parcel number, or you can always search by the map too. So you've got their GIS data, and you can search around on the map and look for your information that way. But 95% of the people will just come in and they're going to type in a name. So stick with the Harrison clan here. So going out, and so what this did was it went out and it looked at the assessor and auditor's databases that we have pulled across and updated every night. So every night we look for any changes that happens in the auditor's data or in the assessor's data, and then we upload that to our servers and then post that out to the public. And this goes to your question about the photos of the property. So their assessor has digital photos of the properties as part of their collection process, and so they're displaying that information forward to the public. So I've got little thumbnails here, and so if I click on this property, it's going to bring up more of a traditional property record card.
Yeah.
So I've got the full piece of information. And the key important thing here is, because people get confused, right? So people look at data on this system pretty extensively. So what we've tried to do is just find an easy way to display the information so that the public can consume it without having to be technical gurus, right? You don't want to have to be an IT department to come in and understand, well, this is the ownership information, this is a photo of the property, I can click on it, it expands that up for me to see it better than before. Down inside the report is basically, you can see where the bars are telling me which office I'm pulling data from, so auditor's office, assessor's office, and it'll go on down to the treasurer's office here in a second. But
does it show tax info too?
it depends on the community, but yeah, down here you see the deductions and the tax history for Rush County. So in this case here, their taxes are
all on the same sheet, so to speak, so you don't have to click here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to keep it very consistent so that the user doesn't have to bounce around or know different things, know what to ask. It's all right here. Got the building sketches right here.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of course, we would have those on our property records, record cards that we can access. It gives some sketches, but not all this info.
Well, and then
so that, I bet the abstractors love this.
exactly. So just to give you a sense, last year we supported over 90 million reviews for information. So quite a few requests come through the portal. It's a pretty substantially well-used system throughout. Now, one thing, so maybe I never deal with tax history. You have the ability to minimize these with these little buttons right here. You click it and it'll hide that, and then it doesn't show back up on your report. So when you hit, so right now, if I wanted to email this information to a friend and say, look at this, I just click the email button, it's going to create a link to that property record card and then launch that directly to them so I can send information back and forth. Also, I can print the information. So I have this ability to just create a PDF, and so what it's going to do is creates a PDF that I can save. I can even add my own title to this information too, so if I'm in business and I wanted to type in some information here, so I'll give it a title. Harrison's Test. Hit update, and it's going to add that information right here, so I can print those things off and control that. There's a lot of different things you can do inside the system, of course, because you can have your results, which are key to the pieces of information. But let's say for whatever reason I need to notify all those Harrisons of some change, so the name with Harrison had to be notified. I had the ability to create address labels. So that quick, I create an address label file for all those persons that are affected by whatever change I had in the system. Close up some of this. So, looking at the different pieces of information that are in the system, we also then, of course, have the map. So, the map, of course, is driven based on what the community has as far as the quality of the mapping information they have in their system. So, this is Rushville. Whatever information is available at the time in their GIS we're pulling. So, you see all their data layers on the side. That's the key pieces of information that we have.
So this takes the place of GIS? So
It doesn't replace it. So what we're doing in the background, so if so like in Montgomery County they have WTH, and so they do their GIS, and they maintain it and they do all their things, and then every night we grab a file from them from the GIS, just like in the tax system. So if you're a Manatron, you maintain all your taxes there, and the assessor probably has ProVal.
We're allowed their
So that would be an additional cost to our WTH. We can't replace it, right?
Do what?
We wouldn't be replacing our WTH.
You could replace their web portion of that portal, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so what we've been doing lately is definitely on this on the web portion has been competitive pricing to where we're basically replacing that interface that they have. So yeah, it is. This is one of those pieces that can go away.
We can replace the entire process, but I found that people sometimes are really in love with their GIS, just like they're in love with their CAMA and tax. So
It took quite a bit to develop that to start with, so.
yeah, but it's the software itself is designed so that the technology, you know, the lines and the polygons that you have in this system, that's really what your GIS is. The software itself is you know, something that costs you every year to maintain and keep, and so what this does is this usually eliminates a lot of desktop licenses and things like that you have internally, because I'm providing a different view into the system, so better access, a little easier to access.
So it's fast. Right now, we're slow.
Right, and I'm running through my
Something
phone.
like
So
Yeah.
that's for an internet connection, get a sense for what I'm running. It runs on your iPad, runs on your phone, does all the key components to it. I don't know if that looks like an alley. I don't know if they'll have it in Google Street View or not, but let's see. A little slow. Let's go over
See, I jigged you.
Well, it's just not a, they would be on their
Ours
main
would-
street.
You know how slow that.
So out on the main street inside of, so this is just linking things up, right? So I'm just combining all the resources. And this is a free add-on, right? Because Google did this for free. So I'm just providing you a quick access to that. So if you're standing in a meeting, like I was in a meeting in Decatur County, and we were trying to figure out what was going on in a town hall, they had some memorial stones that they didn't want to destroy during construction. And we were able to, you know, in the meeting, just pop it up and go, well, right there they are, and look at them and do all that good stuff. All right here at your fingertips, right? So the same thing then, if you want to know information about other property, all you have to do is hover over it and it will pop that information up for you. And if I want to see that parcel report, I just click on it and it's going to bring me directly to that property report and all the information inside of there. The map, of course, you know, the quality of the photos, things like that are all dependent on the community, but the nice thing here is your ability to also print the map. So we've got the ability to customize this too. So in this case here, you got the legend and you've got the summary information. But then again, if I were going to try to send this to somebody to talk about what was going on, I have that right here at my fingertips and can do that. Now, today's conversation, now this is not something I typically run directly to, but today's conversation is so heavy on cemeteries, I thought I'd show you what Kosciuszko County is using the system for. So Kosciuszko County, Indiana, they have a pretty strong group of genealogists, if I can remember the alphabet, there it is. So they have a cemetery map search. So they have everything that I just showed you as far as being able to search from the assessor, auditor, treasurer side of things. But they've also mapped all their cemeteries. So they have all this information in the system. So if I just type in Smith and hit go, it brings back all the Smiths that are deceased in the community. And then I can just click on the property. So we'll see Jewel here. And it shows me that headstone. So when these guys are all talking about collecting information and then putting that in the courthouse, this is just doing that digitally, right? So we're just saving that electronically so that then I could access that information from home. Now they've gone to definitely to the next level, so it's also mapped. So if I go to the map, it'll zoom into that cemetery headstone right here and see it placed on the map itself. So pretty extreme use of it, but the cost was the same. So just because I have this system, I have this other data, I could plug that into this system also. So you'll see like in Huntington County, Indiana, they have some elaborate searches on,
Gosh.
go to the map, transportation. So they're bridges, right? So they have all their bridges. You know, the engineers go out and collect all this information on bridges every year or every 2 years, right? That's your process for it. And then what we've got is, just like before, I could search, if I know the bridge number, I could search on the bridge number. In this case here, I've just created that same style of report as the property, but this time it's telling me the structure information about the bridge itself. Now I'm logged in as an administrator, so some of this information wouldn't be available to the public. There's certain pieces, like the photos, I don't think they put the photos out for public consumption. But it does show this is the historic side of things. Different photos. Going back to the actual engineering documentation.
Had Schneider done the bridge?
No.
Inside.
I think this is, I don't know. Butler Fairman does a lot of work in Huntington, so I don't.
They do ours.
Yeah, I don't know who did the bridges, but we just collect the data. So once they have the data in the system, then and that's all state standard. So it's not too hard to get to the information along those lines. Now the other thing that's nice about Huntington, so going back to you were asking me about search for data here. So type on, whoops, we got a typo. Type on Smith. I did it again. Slow down. So I'm going to bring back some Smiths here in Huntington. Now they don't have a lot of photos on their properties. It's just one of the things that they didn't. The way they stored their photos were different. So we had to work with them a little bit. And so right here's that PDF of the actual property record card,
which we have on ours.
And then they stored their photo, I think, way down here. So we've got the map and then the photo of the property.
That's pretty cool.
They also have other pieces of information inside there too. So a lot of times, I work for a mapping firm, and so one of the things that is important to us is section, township, and range, section corner information. So being able to store all that information is key too. So they have a section corner map that you can post. Let's go to the sections. There we go. Zoom out
Where
a
you
little
put
bit.
where all the
Section ties, yeah.
where all the monuments are.
So these little red dots all represent different section corners. And when they hover over them, it brings up a full report of those section corners.
And then it would be each individual county's surveyor's office would be putting this info in about the section corner.
Yep. So, some of these things they're not, well, the data's everywhere. They're not always sitting around where we can quickly grab them, but the data's here. So the surveyors have to maintain the section corners just like the assessor has to maintain the reassessment funds and all that. And so all these bits and pieces are laying down. So what Beacon does really well is it grabs that information and streamlines it for the end user so that the public and the office holders don't have to run around and try to find things. So we just launched Wayne County the other day. So in their case, you can search by tax bill, state number. They've got 3 different parcel numbers that you can search for information. Let's pick on those Smiths some more. They don't have photos of their property. What they're doing with photos, though, which might be interesting for you guys to consider, is they did a project with their 911 group. So they use 911 funds to collect photos of their buildings, which is a unique way, rather than reassessment funds. So basically, the dispatch center was saying they wanted to know when they rolled up on a home. So I didn't do that project. I just knew that was one way that they were working on it. So this is Richmond, Wayne County. All their tax information, payment information. Now, one thing that I don't have with these communities, and most of the communities I'm dealing with right now, all their taxes are paid. We can go to Steuben County and see. But we can also collect tax statements. So once the treasurer's posted the tax bills, yeah, they're all zeroed right now. The balance due will come inside right here. So you see where they're all zeros now, and then basically click with credit card and it launches out to the merchant account and pops in that information. You type in your credit card and hit submit. And then, the traditional, the money gets processed and dropped into the treasurer's bank accounts on that side. So,
is there a fee to that?
No, there's a fee to the, not to the county. There's a fee to the user. So it's a
Right.
convenience fee associated to that. Right. That's the way all those credit
Yeah,
card companies
governments can't, retailers, they pass that on.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
through their pricing of goods, and we can't do that. So.
Right. So, so in a nutshell, that, I could go on and show all the amazing things that this technology does. It's very fast. It's very stable. It's a very well-used system. I've been at the Schneider Corporation since shortly after high school, pretty close to after high school up there. So I've been there for 26 years, going on 27 years, I guess, this year. And we've been providing GIS services, online electronic technology like this now for going on 20 years. So pretty well known in the state of Indiana for what we're doing. And what I propose is maybe to just continue the conversation with the county. I'd like the opportunity to give you guys a proposal. My proposal that I submitted in Rush County is pretty straightforward. It's our cost is set. We're doing a competitive upgrade, so I know that you guys have an existing system now and you have an existing budget that's in place. Right now we're willing to match that cost with you and provide this type of service in replace of that. So
what I would suggest was that you get with the offices that use this and with the surveyor, and the city utilizes our GIS too. If you could get with those and come up with a consensus about what they think we need, and then bring us a proposal of
what it costs and everything.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I can do that. Any other questions? No.
You know, I mean, I think it's great if if a hometown board can get the business, that's fine, but that's if we just give those other people and decide.
No, absolutely.
And then, just from what I understand, everything we've got on GIS, you can just grab it and go, right? Okay.
It'll have me hunting where to find money to pay for something.
Huh?
It'll have me looking where we can find money to pay for something like this.
Well,
We can figure
hopefully
this-
we're not going to be spending much more money,
Right.
or any more money.
Yeah, that was the. So I don't know if you know Mary Ann over in Rush County, but
Yeah.
talk to her because I talked to her for years and years and years, and I know that when it came down to it, she was really kind of in the whole, are you sure, Andrew, is this really true, or is this what you're going to do? And so she can testify that we followed through with what we said we were going to do, and it's been very well received in Rush County.
Can you give us a few of the people that you have transferred from WTH over to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be helpful.
Yep. Yep, definitely.
So, but we would still have WTH as like the underlay for our GIS, but then this would be, I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
But you can explain that to me later, how
Yes,
that all
I
works
can,
out.
because of course you can replace that. So WTH is an Indiana firm that has designed its own technology, and so which was simple and direct to the point as the market space. Now that's like using an off-brand of Word, right? So Microsoft has Word, and the rest of the world's using Word. That's similar here. So you're using this GIS, the rest of the world is using the actual data engine that I'm running here in the background. So so that's the differences, and we can talk about that in the meeting and just see how far you guys want to investigate that.
And all of, well, now some of the pictures are through what the assessor's office has gotten when they've done their reassessment and data gathering.
Right.
But then the others where you show Street View, that's entirely
Right. It's
Google Maps.
That's
But
all free.
here's another question. I mean, I know Google Maps hasn't, I don't know if have they done Street View on, have they done it on Connersville?
Well, that's a good question.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
It depends. So there for a while it was very limited, but they have driven an awful lot.
I've never seen I was up in Richmond, I think, one time when I saw the truck going through that has the cameras on it, and they just drive.
Okay.
So I'll set that up. Who should I? Can you help me set that up?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just going to see if they've driven the street. Sorry.
Yeah.
So everything in blue has been driven. So
Okay.
all your
The main
your main
arteries or whatever,
thoroughfares,
yeah.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
And that's my, that was my sister's window there at Hawaii and Sunset. She's got it rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't listen well at school, I guess.
Okay. Do we have any patrons concerns? Just about run out of patrons, it looks like.
Need 2 hands.
Need to approve the claims and the payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved second. Claims and the payrolls be approved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Nothing further to come before the commissioners. I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved second, the meeting we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
Hopefully that.